Hey guys, this is our haul from Mid-Ohio. It's June 20. We've been back home from Mid-Ohio for a while. Rich came over and helped me get the rack out of the truck. We took some pictures of the old vintage car out in the sun, but this is the haul. I wanted to show you the stuff that we got. Great weekend there, met Ben Hur. How you doing, Ben, out in Arizona? That was cool to meet Ben. Jim Davis, who got a hold of us just a week ago after 10, 12 years, maybe more. So he was coming to Mid-Ohio to buy some parts from our buddy John, and so we did finally bump into Jim. I'm sorry I didn't get to spend more time with you and Ben. We literally talked to 100 people and didn't spend a lot of time with anybody, or we'd have had to stay all weekend. But we dropped off the carts that we delivered the carts that we sold, and then we went on the rampage picking up the stuff that we had lined up to buy. We bought the Micron 2 from Christie, advertised on Facebook. We bought that for $40. This came from Todd Lorang. We saw this in a box after we came away with this stuff from Todd. 2 new tires, RH2 6-inch, 5-inch wide. He brought down some wheels and tires for us to look at. We want some 450 wide, 5-inch wheels and some 6-inch wide 5-inch wheels for the cart, the Mike Tracy cart that we kept, the Hurricane, the TS Hurricane, that we're going to put the Comer on, right? So that's why we bought the pipe. We bought an S4 pipe, 2 wheels, two wheels with the tires that we're not going to use, and these extra tires we can use for something, $150. And then we hit him up on the way out to the trailer. We saw this, and I said, "Whoa, hey, what's this?" And he had a couple Digitrons in there too. He said, "Listen, all this stuff came with all those carts that I bought last year. I got to get rid of this stuff, And I said, "So, what do you want for this?" And I pushed a button, and it turned on. So I went, I checked all the digits to make sure, went through the program, make sure all the full digit was there. 0, 1, a 1 was a 1, a 2 was a 2, so, like an 8 wasn't a 2, or a 9 wasn't a 7, because some of the LED will actually disappear when these things start going bad. That's the only thing that is the downside to the Micron 2 is the LED eventually goes, and they can't rebuild them anymore. It was all there. I said, "What do you want for it?" He said, "Make me an offer." I said, "How about $20?" He took it. So we got us 2 Microns and all this stuff here. We met Ryan Estep at the gate. He intended on racing, but his new cart hadn't come. This is the parts he took off of the part out of his Aero chassis. He advertised this on Facebook on the marketplace. We got hooked up with him. This had to be, 6-7 weeks ago. We jumped on this right away. We wanted the shift mechanism, the paddle shifter for the Daytona shifter cart, right? This is for a DD2. It's a cable for shifting up, shifting down. It's only, what are those, 2-speed? But we bought the steering shaft, the hub, the paddle, all this other stuff. We don't intend to use this. We're going to use a push-pull cable for our shifter cart, but and then we bought the pedals as well. That whole package, $80. Great deal, man. So thanks to Ryan for coming up to the track because his new cart wasn't ready, and meeting us at the gate. So he didn't have to buy a pit pass to get inside, and selling us this stuff. That was awesome. So we didn't have to pay any shipping. So that was really cool. So we got Ronnie out of the way. We met up with Christy and Alan, got the gauge after we dropped the cart. We went down and dropped off the slingshot cart. Rudy wasn't there, so Carrie Peace told us, literally, Carrie Yunk told us that he was going to be hauling the cart back to Florida for Rudy, so we stuffed it right in his trailer, and they strapped it down, him and Lance. So we got rid of that. We were done. Then we met up with Pops Reevely, who did us, even the $20 Micron, that's one heck of a deal. Okay, although it's a Micron 2, and a lot of you guys think things are archaic, it's old. That's all I need is the 4 numbers and the shift lights. That's all you need, man. Pops Reevely hooked me up with 2 flathead Briggses that were under his bench for probably 15 years. They haven't run these things in a long time. He said they're box stock. They ran on gas. They may or may not have a billet rod in them because they did road race these engines on Sprint Enduro carts when they first started road racing. And he basically donated this. He didn't charge me anything. I offered to give him some money. He said no. This is how we're going to get our 4-stroke 4-banger cart back up and running again. We're going to put our max torque clutch on this, and we'll make sure it's got all the gaskets, parts, pieces, and everything's working. And hopefully, we get this in a month. We'll get this running, and we can take it up to Grattan and give her a go, and play with it. Just up to Grattan to have fun and run the 4-banger. Me and brother Rich or something. I don't know. If Rich don't want to go, maybe I'll just go by myself. I don't know. It's just I throw it in the back of the truck. I should be able to manhandle it by myself. But super duper happy about this. And Pops and Junior, I owe you dinner. At least let me cook you dinner or something at the racetrack. That was a very wonderful thing that you did there. And Jerry, you're right. You said my dad never sells anything. He keeps everything, Robert. So that was in my head talking to Jerry a while ago about how his dad really doesn't like to sell stuff if he can't get what he has into it for it. These were sitting when Bob took the motor, the animal back to rebuild it, and then decided to keep it. I kind of put me in a tough spot. I built this go-kart around this motor. It was really we really didn't have any plans to do anything else with it, so we had to find another motor. And then I got to thinking, man, there's got to be a bunch of those flatheads laying around underneath somebody's bench somewhere, because they're not really racing them anymore. That's when I went to Bob's 4Cycle, and I find out that for the vintage sprint and dirt guys, the flatheads are getting pretty big again. So I thought, well, I better just see if I can find something before they get too pricey, right? And this is perfect. It's not a limited modified. It's not an open, right? It's not a Blockzilla. It doesn't cost $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, believe it or not, for one of those motors. And they're box stock, so they're good. They'll be good and reliable, and that's what that 4-stroke is all about. We had every intention of putting both of these motors on the back of that go-kart and building something really cool, and that would be cool. But if you're going to do that, you may as well build them up. And if you're going to build them up, you're going to spend a lot of money. I just can't see spending a couple grand on flatheads for a laydown. It'd be cool because nobody would have one, and we could put some kick-ass body work on it and make a cool kart out of it. What if it saws itself in half? It'll make a mess all over the track. People will be pissed at us, right? So maybe we'll just go with box stock and keep the kart for what we intended to do with it, which is put newbies in it and run it around a bit ourselves, like a outdoor rental kart, if you know what I mean, lay down rental kart. So that's it. That's what we brought home. We got hit up by Ricky Queen hit me up right before we were getting ready to leave. Rick's a cool guy. He happens to have a zip cart like this that originally he changed. He took everything off. He took the spindles, brakes, and everything off. He cut off the bearing tube and put a hanger or a yoke on and used Coyote spindles. So he took the complete brake system off, right? So he kind of talked me, and I had no idea that we were going to be bringing this stuff home. This was not, all this other stuff was contrived. We put all this together, weeks ahead of time to pick up at Mid-Ohio. This was a surprise to us. He's got some brake pads in here. He's got the complete original zip spindle, whole front corner brake rotor and hub, brake caliper, all the lines, nothing. He never even broke the lines loose. He just took it all off one piece of complete rear system. Same caliper I got on the back of my shifter with a spacer in between for the big vented rotor, and I have one of the exactly like this on both front wheels of my cart. So that's nice to have. Got some 30 millimeter stuff that I'm not interested in, and I don't think anybody else would be interested in, but it's all original stuff that was on the original Zip cart from 81 to 83 when they built these things. This is a CIK aftermarket thing. It might be useful for something. But most of this stuff, I mean, I can't even use it. I can't use it, but Rick really wanted to get rid of it, and he kind of thought, if I took it, that I might be able to find somebody that can use it. Kind of like those brake pads, right? Gary gave me the brake pads, the Emick brake pads, and we sent them off to a guy in California and a guy in Missouri for nothing. They just had to pay for the shipping. This, I had to pay for. And I had to talk him down literally in half because he wanted a bunch of money for it. And in my opinion, I don't need it. I really don't even want it. So to me, he asked me what is it worth, and I told him, probably 150 to 200 bucks. And he said, well, how about you give me 200 bucks, and so I told him I'll have to send you a check because I've already spent all my money on this lot right here. So, we'll send him a check for 200 bucks for this stuff, and I'm going to try to get it in the hands of some of the guys that showed interest or they had zip carts as well as I started building this cart and making the videos about it. They were also looking for rotors and parts and pieces. So maybe I can get this in the hands of some people that can use it. Even if we take a loss, if we get it in the hands of people that can use it, I feel better about it. It's that light of the world, Jesus Christ in you, that you do things to help other people. The sport of or hobby in my mind of karting has been a godsend to me. My dad did it, my oldest brother did it, all my brothers have done it. Me, the wife, the kid, we were all involved in it in one way or another, and I'm still doing it at 56 years old. Knock wood. So, you just, at some point, the racing, I mean, some old guys still want to be competitive and they're not happy if they're not competitive. Me, it's not about, we've raced everywhere that we want to pretty much. We've done everything we want to do. So now it's just furthering, giving back to the sport and hopefully getting some young guys involved in all this. So, yeah, we got a pile of stuff here that, is useful. Some of the master cylinder is still, desirable. Some of this stuff is still usable. So, I mean, if I have to keep the brakes and stuff as spares and the rest of this stuff goes on the kitty cart, we can put 30 millimeter stuff on the kitty cart. It's like 1 inch, right? So we got hubs and everything. All we need is a gear hub. We got a little Predator engine for that thing. And, well, I know I've showed this to you a while ago. That's an old Emick Enduro that we cut up. It took a hit. So, for a yard cart or a parking lot ride for my 6-year-old nephew and my now almost 9-year-old niece, they want to go kart. They see Uncle Bub playing in the garage and they want one. They don't know why. They just know that I got them and I'm gaining more and more of them all the time, and they want one. So that's it. That's it. Thanks to Ben Hur. We met Ben, and that was really cool. Jim Davis is, like I said, met a fella. Dude, you need to, if you're watching the video, you said you'd watch some videos, but you hadn't subscribed. I met him outside the bathroom. Me and Rich, when we finally got parked, walked all the way down the other end of the paddock to the bathroom to wash our hands after we had picked up this stuff, right? And I met this fella outside. He was on a bicycle, right? Tall, skinny, blondish hair, younger fella. If that's you, whoever you are, I forgot to ask your name, but you looked really familiar, and I should have, I thought I'll just remember. It'll just come to me. And for the life of me, I can't remember his name. So if you're watching, leave me your name down below, man. It's really cool bumping into people that watch these videos. Unbelievable, folks. Me and Rich parked the truck down by the turn 1 end of the paddock, right? Second row in, right next to the hagars. And after we got our hands got dirty, offloading the carts and picking some stuff up, I said, I'm going to go down to the bathroom and wash my hands. And he says, well, I'll go with you. And that trip from one end of the paddock to the bathroom and then back from the bathroom back to the truck literally took almost 2 hours, because every time I turn around, there's Robert, hey, what's going on? You shake hands, you give the ladies a hug, and you ask about the family and all that kind of thing, and you tell them, let me go wash my hands, I'll be right back. And as soon as you leave that person, boom, you run into somebody else, and then somebody else, and then on the way back, the same thing. We finally get all the way back to the truck. We're out of water, our legs are hurting, the old blood clots are giving me Hades. Rich's tendon in his foot's hurting. We sit down, we refill our water and have a drink, and he said, man, who don't you know at this place? So he was like, holy cow, Robert, is that how it's going to be? And I said, well, that's why when you have time to walk around, when you're not racing, right, you don't bring the trailer in the cart, you don't have time to stop and talk to everybody. You just say hi on your way to the bathroom, and they think, wow, what a stuck-up idiot that guy is, that when you get to stop and talk, that's what it's all about. The socializing and the fellowship of it all is really fulfilling, more fulfilling, I think, than the racing. If you don't believe me, try going to the track without a go-kart sometime and doing just what I told you, just hanging out and bumping into folks and finding out how they're doing, what their life, what's going on in their life, and how are they doing, instead of, you know, your little tiny bubble of you and your go-kart and listening to the announcements and stuff. But yeah, as we refilled our water and we're resting our legs and stuff, I looked over at him. I said, "You're not going to believe this." He goes, "You got to piss, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, we got to go back to the bathroom." So we turned and burned, head back down to the bathroom, hit up everybody that we said, "Give us a minute," and then we never came back. So we made our rounds. We were so busy, though, only being there a day, being on your feet all day, not really getting much to eat. Our buddy Harry led the first lap of the F125 class. That was cool to see. We were at the wall. We did get to see it, Harry. We watched probably the first, 7, 8 laps or so. And then went up to talk to Dennis up in who's his engine builder. Way to go, Dennis. Good job with the motor. Good, reliable motor. Talked to Dennis a little bit, and then on our way out, we never did stop up the hill and see if Harry was still there and, you know, get the full story about his personal race and all that stuff. So a few red flags. We heard again talking to Bob on the phone on the way home. Some more incidents, but to Herb Jr., Herb Dickel Jr., he got hauled off to the hospital yesterday. We were right there when they dropped his cart off. It looked busted up pretty good. Hope he's okay, and it's just bumps and bruises and nothing too serious. As we get older, it becomes harder and harder for us old guys to heal. So he's a vintage kart guy, and he's a vintage guy. So hang in there, Herb. That's it for Sunday the 20th from the Big Haul from Mid-Ohio. Again, thanks, Jerry and Pops, for the motors, man. It was too cool. Junior, you did say you'd take that kart for a ride. You didn't realize it was a laydown when you said you did. I'm going to hold you to it. God bless y'all. Godspeed. Hang in there. We love you. We're praying for you.